Well, that's Talladega for you. We got a doozy for you to recap this week in NASCAR Fantasy Live. Bubba Wallace gets his first career victory at Talladega. And now, Andrew, let's look at our fantasy lineups here.
For Talladega, we had some Hendrick struggles, so if you put in Byron, that was a really big painful incident. Priest also got taken out in an early wreck or late wreck, and that was definitely hurt his streak and his fantasy performance.
Some of my lineups, I didn't go all that big on Team Penske. All three of their cars, they would finish inside the top 15. Mainly Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano. They both get podium finishes. Both the 2 and the 22 cars, they would get beyond 50 points, joining the race winner Bubba Wallace with that amount. Fortunately, my main lineup, Jackuwarz, they had Brad Keselowski and Chris Buescher, just missed out on the other half in that top 4 with the most points.
Another few things, Reddick also was caught up in a wreck, and he was definitely a favor.
We also got to look at the top 8 most results of the week of Talladega. You got Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano leading the way. Bubba Wallace, your race winner, is third. But looking towards that bottom 4 there, you got Kevin Harvick with a surprise finish. More so, the fact that this race didn't go to stage 3, I like to think that most of these drivers got the points they did because of this race getting rain shortened. Normally, in a full-length Talladega race in the fall, Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, maybe even Joey Logano, they'd all probably wreck, but since it's rain shortened, then they're able to stay up front, get those stage points, and get the result that they did. So, would you agree with that?
I agree with that, and really another interesting thing about this top 8, and if you include the last 2 for top 10, there was only 2 Chevrolets, so Chevy wasn't really a big factor here. A lot of Fords and Toyotas up here, they were really working great together. Harvick needed to do what he had to do to try and advance into the round of 8 and get them stage points, 10 extra stage points. So that's really good of him. And Bell also had a good finish.
There you have it. Even Kevin Harvick, he continues his top 10 streak that he started with the playoffs. And I like to think that he'll have that carried forward to the Charlotte Roval, as he's going to need another good day in order to make it to the round of 8. So, heading over to the Charlotte Roval, here's our tier list here. We're going to be big on either Kyle Larson, if you can afford to play with him this week, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano. Those 3 are going to be absolute musts. So, Andrew, we'll have you take care of top plays. Who do you got?
For my top play, like you said, it's going to be Kyle Larson. He's been fast overall on these road courses, had the fastest car out of everyone, and especially on these older road courses like the Glen, Sonoma, and the Roval. And he's had the second best driver average for the Charlotte Roval, with a stage win in both of his previous races.
Indeed. I'm going to be on a limb here, and I might stretch for another play with Kyle Larson. I'm at 2 usages left with Kyle Larson for my main lineup, and I'm going to be using one for the Charlotte Roval, which means I'll have to pick and choose one race for the round of 8. I feel Kyle Larson can have some redemption for the Charlotte Roval after the inaugural race here in 2018. This just feels like a track that Kyle Larson can win at. He won at the Coca-Cola 600, completely different race to the Charlotte Roval, but I feel he can go for 2 in NASCAR's home track for the entire garage.
Yeah, I think he has the speed to do it. I know, like Chase Elliott, he's been the king of road courses, but his main competitor is his teammate, Kyle Larson. I know, like you said, with 2 usages for me, I'm just gonna save him, one for the round of 8 and for the finale. But if you decide to use him here, I wouldn't mind that. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good play with it.
Blind spot plays, these are most of the drivers that are not in the playoffs, not including Christopher Bell, who's on the bubble and needs a lot of points just to make it to the next round. There's also some road course ringers in this blind spot category as well, like AJ Allmendinger and Ross Chastain. Those are also solid options if you need a good solid starter 4 and starter 5 options. But let's give Kurt Busch that spot instead. I like some of his body of work of road course results in 2021. He was able to get a good top 10 result in the Indianapolis road course. He was a bit of missing in action with the Watkins Glen race, and then the Road America race he did alright at. Actually did very great at the Road America race, getting more than 40 points. And I feel Kurt Busch can carry that momentum going forward. He finished really good at Talladega and Las Vegas, and with the Charlotte Roval, it's a road course, so advantage go to Kurt Busch. He should be a good sneak play for this week.
Yeah, and with this 2022 situation already settled and really Chip Ganassi Racing really closing down, I think he really wants to give Chip Ganassi Racing that one final victory for the team. And some other guys you could consider for blind spot would be, AJ Allmendinger, who's been really good at these road courses, and of course Kurt Busch's teammate, Ross Chastain, who's also been another surprise.
And minus Christopher Bell, Kurt Busch does have the best starting spot amongst these blind spot plays. He's starting 13th, although Christopher Bell is 4th. But if you exclude him, then Kurt Busch has the best starting spot. And I feel he can give you some steady points. He won't, I don't think he might give you more than 40 points. But on the other hand, I don't think he's going to give you a disastrous day in any sense.
Yeah, no, his average finish here is around 9.67, so around 9 and 10. Although he hasn't won a stage, but I think he'll pretty much guarantee you a good finish.
Alright, Andrew, let's move over to our long shot plays. Quite a lot of interesting cast of drivers here. They're all out of the playoffs, but if you need one curveball in terms of road course ringers, then who do you got?
Yeah, for me, I have Chase Briscoe. I mean, the Indy road course, he almost won that race, had some situations at the end where he didn't, but he looked really fast and really competed with the Hendrick Motorsport cars and the Joe Gibbs Racing cars. I mean, although he's been the 19th fastest on these road courses, that also takes into account the earlier road course races, but at these previous ones, I mean, he's really finished really well at them, got some good stage points in them, and although he hasn't run a Cup Series race here, in the Xfinity Series, his average driver rating is around 120-ish, so that's really amazing. And then if it happens to rain, I mean, he's already got the rain experience, last year the Xfinity race ran in the rain, and really, for him, I know I probably wouldn't use him anywhere else because, he's probably just going to end up lucking his way to a finish, and that's nothing that you probably should be predicting to, but I think for the Roval, he'll do really well and should get you maybe a top 10, but at most a top 15 and maybe a few stage points.
Caution plays, these are some drivers that they're on the fringe of the playoff cut line, and or these are drivers you should probably save for another week if you need to. Such as Kevin Harvick. He did come off with some good finishes. He has a top 10 streak that dates to the beginning of the playoffs at Darlington. The thing is with Harvick here, his road course stats this year aren't all that special. There's the Indianapolis road course, which he did alright at, but nothing in terms of his stats at road courses that jump out to me. I think you're going to find much stronger options than Harvick at the Charlotte Roval, mainly his two young teammates in Chase Briscoe and Cole Custer. His best results here was from 2019. That was more from it was a good season for Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, and another thing to consider for Harvick, he's only 8 points out of the cutoff line. So really, he could just only have to really finish well and get some stage points. He doesn't really need to go for the win of the race, unless somehow one of the other three guys of Bell, Byron, and Bowman get a win. That's what he needs to do, and that's the situation for him. I expect an okay day from him, maybe getting a top 10 or on the fringe of it, getting about 5 or 8-ish stage points.
Another thing to mention about the points battle for this race is Kyle Busch. He doesn't have his best finish at the Charlotte Roval is a 30th place finish just last year, and so the likelihood that Kyle Busch can just have another self-explosive result at the Charlotte Roval is likely, and will catch the eye of all the bubble drivers, including Kevin Harvick. That's the best case scenario for Harvick, is if Kyle Busch has another meltdown race at the Charlotte Roval, then it's smooth sailing for the 4-car, assuming that Christopher Bell, William Byron, or Alex Bowman don't have monstrous days.
And also another thing about Kyle Busch is last year he was in a top 10 car, except at the end they just screwed their pit strategy. So this will be the first race without Adam Stevens. So let's see how good the 18 car can be with Ben Bayshore.
But it won't be our avoid plays, that'll be somebody else. We'll actually cover 2 avoid drivers this week. I think it might be important for that, just because of how loaded our avoid drivers are. But Andrew will give you the first avoid for this week.
The first avoid driver is going to be Brad Keselowski. Although he has the 7th or 8th best driver rating here, it is his 22nd or 24th best track. So not really a good track for him, and really these road courses this year have been really painful to watch Brad Keselowski at. Although he did finish well at the Daytona road course, which is the Roval, so somewhat similar to the Charlotte Roval. I really just don't think the 2-car has a lot of speed for these road courses, and really their 750 package hasn't been as good, although they did run well at Bristol. His only good finish here was 2019. The other 2 finishes, I mean, besides the Turn 1 wreck, they've just been mediocre, and so I would stay away from Brad and use him somewhere at like a 550 track or a 750 track like Kansas, Martinsville, and Phoenix for the last 3 races.
But for the sakes of, if you can make it past the round of 12, use that 20-point margin to the fullest, then the round of 8 is looking very nice for Keselowski, and who knows, maybe it could be a good dark horse pick to make it to the Championship 4, should those scenarios play out.
I mean, his 2022 season plans have been set in stone, although he might be looking at that, but I think he still has some bit of drive to try and get a win or the championship for Roger Penske.
Alright, we did say we'll cover one more avoid driver for this week. I'm going to be covering Denny Hamlin. That's really because usage situation. You might be just like me with your Denny Hamlin plays and spend them early in this playoffs, mainly in the round of 16, and sprinkle in the Las Vegas race. I was able to fit him in there. But I'm at 1 play left with Denny Hamlin, and the Charlotte Roval is the first race I wouldn't consider Hamlin at. I'd rather go with either Texas or Kansas. And that's not even mentioning his past Charlotte Roval results. His best result, I believe, was only 15th. So in short, no top 10s for Denny Hamlin at the Charlotte Roval. I think there's far better tracks out there for Denny Hamlin in this remaining schedule. And in the past, there was much better road courses for Hamlin as well, like Watkins Glen and the Daytona road course.
I think the 2 races that we wanted to avoid for Denny Hamlin in the playoffs are definitely Talladega and the Charlotte Roval. I know Talladega, he's run really good there, but I would just really trust him for like the oval tracks. Even like, whether it's 550 or 750, I think he runs better on them than a super speedway or a road course.
So that's what we think about some drivers heading into the Charlotte Roval. Now to set our lineups here. And looking into some of my lineups, the bulk of them are going to be centering around Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., and Joey Logano. Those last 2 drivers are going to be in my top Ford and top Toyota, respectively. It's a toss-up between either Chase Elliott or Kyle Larson for top Chevrolet, but for my main lineup, Jackuwarz 1, we're going with Kyle Larson all throughout, not just top Chevrolet, but we'll also have him for race winner. Some of my others will play with the idea of Chase Elliott winning, possibly Joey Logano or Martin Truex Jr. sneaking in for the race win. Don't forget Martin Truex Jr., he's the 3rd best road course racer, and who knows, if you can get a leg up on either of those 2 Hendrick cars, you can possibly win as well. Same goes for Joey Logano. And then the more interesting lineup, no Chevy. That's where our sleeper picks are going to be stashed in, namely Chase Briscoe. And Chris Buescher I'll also have in here. I feel I need some starter 5 driver that will help me get through the day, and I got plenty of usages left for Chris Buescher, so let's give that a try.
And for me, I have basically the same plan, except I'm not going to throw Kyle Larson in here. I'm going to have 3 guys that it's going to be split between like a Bowman, a Byron, Kurt Busch, and then maybe sprinkle in 1 or 2 AJ Allmendinger plays for the garage or that 5th starter. For me, I think I'm going 2 Chase Elliott winner picks and 1 Kyle Larson winner pick. For no Chevy, instead of throwing in the number 17, Chris Buescher, into the lineup, I'm going to throw Matt DiBenedetto. Matt DiBenedetto has been really good at these road courses so far, and I think has had shown a lot more speed than the 17 car. Although, his past finishes here are okay compared to the 17, but I think they have a fast enough car, and Matty D is really just, racing for his career on the line. And the winner pick here is not Martin Truex Jr., it's going to be Christopher Bell. I mean, if he's done it at the Daytona road course, maybe he can pull an upset here at the Charlotte road course.
Not bad picks for your no Chevy. Honestly, I'm starting to like the idea of Matt DiBenedetto more than Chris Buescher, so he might have a leg up on me there. Not bad picks. That's what we think about the lineups for the Charlotte Roval race. It's going to be another fun Charlotte Roval race. The Bank of America Roval 400 will kick off this Sunday, October 10th at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The race is 109 laps, 252 miles. Enjoy the Roval race weekend, one of my more favorite races on the calendar all year. Next week is the round of 8 with Texas Motor Speedway.
Have a good Charlotte Roval race weekend. Hope your picks do well, and we'll move on to the round of 8.
Yep, good luck as always. We'll see you guys for next week at Texas.